ist, wir sind nicht hilflos, wir können das ändern. Wir können die hohen Gewinne von Konzernen wie Nestle, Coca-Cola oder Ferrero endlich besteuern. Wir können Finanzspekulation mit Nahrungsmitteln beenden. Mit Lebensmitteln zockt man nicht. Und wir können, und das ist eine direkte Aufforderung auch an die EU-Kommission, mit einer Marktuntersuchung für den Lebensmittelbereich endlich offenlegen, dass das Fehlverhalten dieser Konzerne daran schuld ist, dass unsere Bürger sich die Rechnung im Supermarkt nicht mehr leisten können.
Thank you very much, dear colleague. Next speaker, Madame Kontora, seat 376.
Ευχαριστώ πολύ, κύριε Πρόεδρε. Κύριοι συνάδελφοι, η σαρωτική ακρίβεια και η αισχροκέρδεια πλήττουν ανεξέλεγκτα για τρίτη συνεχόμενη χρονιά τους Ευρωπαίους πολίτες. Στην πατρίδα μου την Ελλάδα, σύμφωνα με τη Eurostat, το 27% χαμηλότερους. Εφαρμόζονται εναρμονισμένες πρακτικές τιμολόγησης από ολιγοπόλια που οδηγούν σε καρτελοποίηση της αγοράς με αποτέλεσμα τα ελληνικά προϊόντα να πωλούνται φθηνότερα σε Βέλγιο, Ολλανδία, Γερμανία και αλλού. Κύριε Επίτροπε, οι στρεβλώσεις αυτές δεν λύνονται με πιστολές. Σας καλώ να λάβετε άμεσα οριζόντια μέτρα κατά της ακρίβειας. Να ενισχυθούν οι μηχανισμοί εποπτείας και ελέγχου και να επιβληθούν αυστηρές ποινές όπου υπάρχουν εναρμονισμένες πρακτικές τιμολόγησης. Τέλος, να φορολογηθούν τα υπερκέρδη της αισχροκέρδειας στα τρόφιμα και να ληφθούν μέτρα στήριξης των ευάλωτων ομάδων. Σας ευχαριστώ πολύ.
Thank you, Madam. Señor Oliveira.
Obrigado, Presidente. Uma senhora entrevistada em Portugal sobre o aumento dos preços dizia à televisão portuguesa que o pior de tudo é que fica-se sem dinheiro para comprar um livro. Esta frase reflete bem as consequências do aumento do custo de vida. Não é apenas naquilo que deixa de se comprar nas necessidades básicas, é em tudo o resto da vida das pessoas que fica comprometido. E falando do aumento do custo de vida e em particular do aumento dos preços da alimentação, é absolutamente essencial que tenhamos neste debate presentes as duas linhas de solução e de resposta a este problema. Aumento de salários e de pensões, melhoria do poder de compra por um lado, por outro lado, intervenção e controle dos preços para que a especulação e o aumento dos lucros dos grupos económicos não determinem a dificuldade e o agravamento das dificuldades para quem vive do seu trabalho, o agravamento das dificuldades nas condições de vida do povo. É a conjugação desses dois elementos, do aumento do poder de compra e do controle da limitação dos preços, que pode efetivamente dar resposta a este problema do aumento do custo de vida. Sermos que uma parte dos problemas que ficam por responder é precisamente...
Maar jullie equiparen waren. Dit lief. Ook lief skal være for alle. Tak for det.
Thank you very much, Mr. Schipper. Madam Zakaria, seat 846 is our last speaker.
Κυρίες και κύριοι, η ακρίβεια στα βασικά τρόφιμα δεν είναι προσωρινή κρίση, είναι καθημερινός εφιάλτης για εκατομμύρια πολίτες. Στην Ελλάδα οι τιμές στα τρόφιμα αυξήθηκαν κατά 27% την τελευταία διετία, με το ελαιόλαδο να σημειώνει αύξηση 30% μέσα σε ένα έτος, το 2023. Παράλληλα, οι τιμές παραγωγού μειώνονται, ενώ τα ράφια γεμίζουν με υπερτιμημένα προϊόντα. Οι ενδιάμεσοι κερδοσκοπούν, οι καταναλωτές υποφέρουν και οι παραγωγοί κονιορτούνται. Το πρόβλημα δεν είναι μόνο ο πληθωρισμός, είναι δομική ανισορροπία στην αλυσίδα τροφίμων. Λίγες αλυσίδες ελέγχουν την αγορά, οι μικροί παραγωγοί πιέζονται και οι τιμές παραμένουν ψηλά. Και ενώ τα καρτέλ τροφίμων διαμορφώνουν τιμές με όρους κερδοσκοπίας, οι κυβερνήσεις της κάθε χώρας προσκαλούν τους επενδυτές και λένε «Ελάτε εδώ και θα βγάλετε κέρδη». Κέρδη με τι, με το φαγητό μας? Το φαγητό δεν είναι πολυτέλεια, είναι βασικό ανθρώπινο δικαίωμα και η Ευρωπαϊκή Ένωση οφείλει να το προστατεύει με πολιτικές προστασίας και σεβασμό στους πολίτες και όχι στα κέρδη των εταιριών. Ευχαριστώ.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Kadis. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will be very brief. Honourable members of the European Parliament, firstly, let me thank you for the richness of your interventions. These interventions show that agriculture and food are at the heart of our societies and our economies. A fair and well-functioning, competitive and resilient food supply chain is a core strategic interest of the European Union. Fairness, because more trust and respect between actors promote the correct functioning of the chain and reduce transaction costs. Resilience, because we cannot afford to risk food shortages in the EU, and we rely on our well-functioning internal market for this. Improving the functioning of the food supply chain while maintaining affordable prices obviously presents many challenges. But it is precisely because of this we need to avoid polarization and work with all actors of the food chain, as we do in the European Board of Agriculture and Food. This is one of the key tasks ahead of us in implementing the Commission's vision, and I am sure I can count on your support. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear Commissioner. Minister Spratka, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, honourable members, Mr. Commissioner. Also briefly, it is clear from our discussion that this topic is of great importance to all of us. This shared concern is exactly why the Polish presidency has made food security one of the main priorities for this half of the year. Thank you for your contributions, which we have duly noted. They will fit into our upcoming discussions in the Council. I'm sure that they will also be an element in our negotiation in the coming months and years to make sure that the common agriculture policy continues to ensure that affordable, quality food is accessible for consumers and to allow rural areas to thrive. Thank you very much for your attention again.
Thank you, dear Minister. The debate is closed. Next item on the agenda is Council and Commission statement, Malta's Golden Passport SIM, circumventing EU sanctions against Russia. And now again, the Minister has the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, Mr. Commissioner, honourable members. Thank you for inviting the Council to take part in this debate. Let me say from the outset that the Council does not comment on the internal situation and legislation of particular member states. Also, the Council does not express views on the content of media reports. I will therefore focus my intervention on the judgment delivered by the Court of Justice on 29 April on the Maltese citizenship by scam. It is the first time that the court takes a decision concerning a national citizenship scheme. The Court of Justice recognizes that the granting and losing of nationality is a matter of national competence. However, it must be exercised consistently with EU law. That is why this judgment is of great relevance for member states. EU citizenship is built on the principle of sincere cooperation and mutual trust between member states. These principles need to be safeguarded by the EU institutions as well as by all member states. When a member state grants nationality to a person, that person is automatically granted union citizenship as well. This includes accepting all the rights and obligations of the space of freedom, security, and justice. Let me also say a word on the wider context of EU sanction policy and in particular the sanction regime that the EU has put in place against Russia due to its war of aggression against Ukraine. As you well know, the EU has imposed 16 sanction packages of massive nature against Russia. The series of sanctions packages represent a strong political message of unity in the face of unjustified aggression. But the efficiency of the measures included in the sanction regimes relies on uniform implementation across the Union and its member states. Ensuring that there are no contradictions between sanction enforcement and our domestic legislation is a collective effort of all member states. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Splatka. Now, Commissioner McGrath, you have the floor.